Let's go ahead and get started with our final interview of the day. In studio, I have Deacons Robb Stark and Eric Pugh, and they are here to talk about the emergency pastoral response team. Robb and Eric, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
We really do appreciate it. So, okay, if people are not aware of the emergency pastoral response team, let's go ahead and hear, what is that specifically?
The Emergency Pastoral Response Team is a collection of 4 priests and 7 deacons that, upon a crisis, either man-made or natural, we are we're activated to the scene to provide prayer support, listening, that sort of thing from the people.
Wonderful.
Really looking forward. We really look forward to just walking with people in those times. Just be there, be a face.
And as that is pointing out, so you're looking forward to, because this is, I take it, relatively new or like reconstituted, or what's the story and the history behind its creation?
So it was really born out of the Greenfield tornado a couple years ago, where people were coming to church looking to have this prayer support, have this time, have this opportunity for them to tell their story and whatnot, and find support, honestly, and hope. And they were kind of overrun. So Bishop Johnson got a few of us together and said, hey, look, we need to probably stand up this team. Not sure exactly what it looks like. I'm going to leave it up to you and Deacon Bradley, and you guys can form this team as you see fit. We brought Eric on board, and it was born out of that. So then that started. We got together. We knew what we wanted it to be like, and so there was a lot of briefings ahead of its official kickoff to the diocese and whatnot, and specific groups. So it was born really out of necessity, and it has been a good thing. We've been activated twice.
Okay. And when you get it, go ahead. So sorry.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things that you may hear some terms. We're both military. As a matter of fact, we're a little military heavy on the team itself. Yeah. So there's several deacons that have some military experience, and Robb and I actually served together, and so we have some experience in this. So that's kind of how we've structured some of how we do it, and it seems to be working well. So
well, when I saw that you already have an acronym, EPRT, I figured as much. So I was like, okay, if they have that down, if they have activation trees, for instance, when how does this get activated? So like something occurs, is this something that throughout the diocese, diocesan people know what to do? How does the team get rolling, as it were?
Well, the Vicar General is the person who calls out with consultation with mostly with the team, mm-hmm. and they have some discussions about an event. And then, Robb, go ahead from there. That's really your bailiwick.
So it's either the bishop will call us out, or if he's out of town, then of course the Vicar General, Father Dave Fleming, will call. How we have it structured is that Tom will receive the call. He'll immediately call me. I turned into the operations guy at the time, mm-hmm. and then I will, together we'll do a quick assessment of how many do we think we need, where do we got to go, that sort of thing. So far, our latest activation was the unfortunate incident in Ankeny at St. Luke's. Mm-hmm. And so that evening, Deacon Tom got a call from Father Dave. And so he went up there, Deacon Bradley went up there and did assessment, called me, and we decided, well, we need, 4 guys plus, a priest, 5 guys. So I called everybody that evening. What they have plans and whatnot, which, when you're assigned to this team, especially, now coming into the severe weather season, you make a commitment, and if you're called to go, then, you've got to do your own assessment at home and see what's going on. But I had more help than I needed, which was great. Now, we've got guys spread all over the state, so we got folks here in central Iowa, and then out on what I call the West Coast out there, Council Bluffs. Right. So we didn't involve those guys out there because it was contained here in central Iowa. So not every person from the team gets activated for every event. So, and then the first time I got called was last year, our first year. This is our second year. The first year we got there was a high winds or straight line winds out in the southwest. So the guys out in Council Bluffs were the only ones that were called. So. I suspect if we had another Greenfield somewhere that the entire team would be activated.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that what's, first of all, a theme of this show, it's interesting how Catholic morning shows end up getting themes whether we intend it or not. But the power of prayer and the way that we as a church know the power of prayer and being there for people and presence and being just sources of comfort and peace in the midst of, like you said, tragedies or difficulties, especially when, the aftermath of those can seem just as chaotic as the event that caused them. And one of the things I, think this is very prescient and even, progressive in this one way that I want to bring up is more and more in like the medical field, for instance, people are starting to realize, you can do what you can to help with bodily injury, but the real thing and success that they see with patients is, have you cared for them mentally, but have you cared for them spiritually, like in the sort of wake of a difficulty, whether that's a surgery or emergency care or something like this. So it's actually very heartening and to know, right, that as a church, what we're starting to say is, yes, in the modern world, we're able to predict a lot of things like weather or difficulties. We have responses to the physical and material needs of people as best we can. So where can we as the church make sure to be there and be ready for people with their spiritual needs in the wake of these difficult times in their life? And this is precisely already twice now, but something like you said, you guys are building to make sure that we're there for people in precisely that way.
Right, and I think that's a big distinction is we're not there to go pick up sticks and recover people's homes and things like that. That's not our intention, and we're not going to go out in that initial phase of some of these, like a tornado. We're not going to go out when they're still in the rescue mode. That's not our intention. Our intention is to walk with everyone. We're not talking just about Catholics. We're talking about being available for everyone in their moment when they need a hand, when they just need someone to look them in the face and just listen to their story.
So it's interesting, Bo, that you brought up that people need their physical, their mental capacities taken care of. In our last activation up at Ankeny, we ran into several counselors. Now, this team is not. We're not counselors, so I want to put that out there, too. However, we do bring an element to that event that even counselors can't bring. And that was acknowledged by AEA counselors in Ankeny. We spoke to them while they were there, and they even said, you and your team bring something to this event that we can't. Mm-hmm. And so it really does become a team at that point,
yes,
right? Because we all have our gifts and our talents, right? So we do complement the pastor. We support him, and that's really who we kind of take our marching orders from, really, when we get on scene, because it can be overwhelming, as
yes,
you would well imagine. And so we do have priests on the team, so the brother priests can talk, and he's there for support him too. We're not there to take over. That's not even our intent. And like Eric said, our scope is pretty narrow. We walk with the people, we talk with them, provide ears for listening, let them know that we care for them. And it's interesting, and I keep referring to Ankeny, but we're all dressed in our collar. I think that's important to make a distinction. And we have a vest, so we have two color vests, kind of a gray one, and then if we ever go out into the community, we have the bright what is it, safety green,
orange,
it's to identify us. Mm-hmm. So the people can come up to us, which happened. Mm-hmm. And I had a gentleman come up to me and say, "Look, I witnessed the whole thing," and he started weeping, and I just listened and provided him with some dialogue, and at the end we prayed, and he thanked me for my time. But so people will people will find us.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that anybody who's ever seen, folks after a tornado, after a fire, just any of these things where, the sky's blue again and life's going on and all the adrenaline's gone, it's precisely then that to have a life raft between the craziness of the event and then, of course, going and getting help. There's long-term stuff that the emergency team, like you said, that's not the point. But the EPRT, the Emergency Pastoral Response Team, is precisely that bridge between the rescue work, the immediacy, and then what it takes to do long-term healing that everybody admits takes a while. But to be there in the breach is a profound help. It's so wonderful to hear that this is something that we in the diocese are doing, that we have people dedicated to it, and yes, that we have some military guys who know how to make sure to do it in an orderly way, and it can do it pretty quickly. Before we let you go, because we're almost here at the end, one more time, if people, like you said, this isn't going to be something that just everybody calls out of the blue, but how is it that when things like this happen, the Emergency Pastoral Response Team, part of the diocese, how is it that they get contacted? And if people find themselves in one of these emergencies, how should they look for you guys? The vests, right?
They would need to contact the diocese.
Yeah.
Well, contact their parish priest, first of all.
Right.
And then he can, make that phone call to Father Dave or Bishop Johnson. And that's how we initially, when we're still kind of, because we've only been activated twice, we're starting to, we're finding our products each time. So the activation process, again, those two gentlemen, Bishop Johnson and Father Dave, but if it's Robb Stark that needs help, then I'm going to call my parish priest, and then that will filter up, and then they'll get down to us.
Absolutely wonderful. It's wonderful the work that you guys are doing. Deacons Robb Stark and Eric Pugh, part of the Emergency Pastoral Response Team. Thank you guys so much for being here on the Catholic Morning Show.
Thanks for having us.